All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to class after spring break. I'm happy to have you in class today. Um, we're in the second half of the semester, all right? So we're going to continue meeting online until we're told otherwise. Haven't heard much over the break, but basically the plan is to just keep running the class this way. It's possible that it will run this way till the end of the semester, but it's unknown. So we're just going to sort of do the lessons and the lectures and the activity online as best as we can. All right. So I hope you guys had a nice, relaxing spring break and that you're sort of keeping safe and healthy. I'm spending a lot of time with the kids and trying not to go outside too much. And that's about it. So let's kind of look at what we're going to do today. Okay, so the plan for today is I'm going to start by looking at the section 5.6 lesson. So this is graphing systems of inequalities. And then in the second half of the class, we're going to do some practice on sections 5.3 and 5.5. So those are the word problems with systems of equations that we're doing before the break. I noticed that there's not looking at the grade book, not that much homework was done in this couple of sections. So I want to make sure that you guys understand these problems. So here are the due dates. Again, you sort of, let me just make sure that I'm recording the session because, just a second. Yeah, it's recording. Cool. Good, so this session is being recorded. So you can sort of go back to the session. You can write this down in your notebook, obviously, but or take a picture. But you can go back to the recordings to see all the due dates and stuff, okay? So for Thursday, what's due is going to be the section 5.6 video lesson and homework that are in Canvas, and the mixture problem practice that we're going to do today in Google Docs, okay? Hopefully you guys I sent you an email last night with the link to a Google Doc that you can work on some word problems in groups. Okay, well, we'll get to that in a bit, all right? So due today, you can sort of take the rest of the day to finish these if you haven't. The homework and video lessons on sections 5.3 and 5.5. Those are the word problem stuff. I'll go over some of the homework today, just to kind of make sure that you know where to find it and what sections you need to work on, and just sort of going over some of the problems in Canvas, just to kind of give you a refresher for over the break. All right, so before I get started on lesson, any questions from anyone about anything, really? Okay, yeah, so again, you can speak up by unmuting yourself, or you can type in the chat box if you have questions about the class or any of the problems that we're working on. You know, a lot of people feel really comfortable doing the chat rather than the voice, and that's okay with me. Just at the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a button that says chat. You can, if you have, I have that open on the side here, and I can look at the chats as the class is going. You guys can have the same thing and kind of see what other people are saying. All right, so let's get started then. We're going to look at section 5.6. All right, so section 5.6. is graphing systems of inequalities. All right, so let me look at some problems from the book. I'm going to share, I'm just going to share my whole computer so I can sort of switch between windows easily. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so systems of inequalities look like this. Okay, so they look like systems of equations, but instead of equals, they have inequalities in them, all right? We're going to first check to see if a ordered pair is a solution to a system of inequalities, kind of talk about what that means to be a solution to a system of inequalities. And then we're going to solve a system by graphing. So really kind of the only way of solving systems of inequalities is by graphing, because you don't just get like one coordinate point as a solution, you get like different regions of the coordinate plane that are solutions, right? So let me look at problem 276. Okay, so I'm going to grab this problem right here, put it on my whiteboard. There we go. Okay, so the direction here says are the coordinate points solutions to the system of inequalities. Okay. All right, so whenever you're checking solutions, you plug things in, okay? So here I'm given like two choices. We want to check both of them. All right, so let's do part A. So for part A, we're given this coordinate point. So X is the 5 and Y is the -2, okay? All right, so we're going to check by plugging in both inequalities. Okay, so I'll call this 1, and let's call this one 2. Okay. All right, so let's plug into the first inequality. So the X and Y values go into that inequality right there. So 4X minus Y is less than 10. So basically I plug in X is 5 and Y is -2. And I want to see if that is less than 10. Okay, so this is 20 plus 2, which gives me 22. And that is not less than 10. Okay, so that point doesn't work. All right, so the coordinate point 5, -2, if you plug it into the first inequality, that doesn't work because 22 is not less than 10, right? If it doesn't work in one of the inequalities, it's not going to be a solution to the system. So it's like once it doesn't work, you can stop, right? But typically, you want to plug it into both, all right? Because it needs to work in both, all right? So I'm going to plug in the second one just to see what happens. So we have -2 times 5 plus 2 times -2. See if that's bigger than -8. So we get -10. So question mark, we don't know. -10 minus 4. This gives me -14. And that's not bigger than -8 because negative numbers, right? The bigger the negative number is, it is sort of the bigger the value, the more left in the number line. So -14 is not bigger than -8. So it didn't work in either of the equations. Okay, so we can say that this point, so 5, -2, is not a solution to the system of inequalities. All right, any questions with that? All right, so I want you guys to try B. All right, so take a couple of minutes. So now we're going to look at this coordinate point, right? X is -1, Y is 3. Plug that in both of these equations and check to see if it works. Okay, it works if whatever you get, whatever inequalities you get are true. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. All right, so did anybody get an answer for this one? Is this a solution to the system of inequalities?
I tried it and both of them were true.
Both of them are true? Okay,
Yeah.
excellent, good. So if you plug them in and both of them are true, then that means it's a yes. Okay, it's a solution.
Good.
So let me go through the steps for that. All right, so let's plug it in the first equation. Okay, so we're going to grab the first or inequality. I'm going to write the first inequality here and plug in the values. So 4 times -1 minus 3. This gives me -4 minus 3, which is -7. And if I check to see if it's less than 10, that checks out. Okay, so the point checks out into the first inequality. All right, let's plug it into the second. Okay, so we're going to write the second inequality here. -2x plus 2y bigger than -8. So plug in -1 for x, 3 for y, 2 plus 6 equals 8. And compare. 8 is bigger than -8. That is true. So because it made the inequalities true for both of them, then you say yes, it's a solution. Okay, all right. Good, any question on this? So yeah, this is, we're checking to see what a solution is, or the given sort of coordinate points are solutions by plugging in. All right, so now we're going to look at the technique for solving. So we're going to solve systems of inequalities now. All right, so let's look at solve the system of inequalities. Now we're going to do it by graphing. Okay, so this is basically the only choice for solving systems of inequalities because a solution to a system of inequalities is not just a coordinate point, it's like a region of the plane, and we'll kind of see how that works. Okay, so let me grab a problem from the book. All right, so the book right here. Let's look at 284.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're given two inequalities, and these are nice because they're solve for y. All right, so we need to graph each of these inequalities. Okay, so we need to, let's go and graph the first one. All right, so let me make a coordinate plane. All right, let's see if I can. That's a thick line. That's not good. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's my axes right here. Right. And then let's see, I want to graph each line. Okay, so let me put slow markings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. So here's a coordinate plane right here. And I want to graph the first equation. Okay, so the first inequality says y is less than negative 2x plus 2. All right, so remember to graph inequalities, we first graph the equation. Okay, so we did these a couple of weeks ago. We first need to graph the equation, right? Then we need to decide, is it going to be dashed or is it going to be solid? And then we need to decide where to shade. So there's like 3 steps. Graph, decide on the type of line, and then decide on the shading, right? So let's graph this. Okay, so this has a y-intercept of 2. So that means I put a dot at 2. And the slope is negative 2. So I'm going to write it as negative 2 over 1. Okay, so that means that I go down 2 units and 1 to the right. Okay, so here's my starting point, which is the y-intercept. And then the slope tells down 2, 1 to the right. Okay, now I'm going to draw the line. This is what I need to check with my inequality here. Okay, so because this is no equal underneath, this is going to be dashed, right? So this is going to be like a broken line. Okay. Now I need to decide on the shading. All right, so the shading is, I have to go either below the line or above the line, right? So because this is less than, so y is less than the line, then the shading is below. All right, so we're familiar with doing these. We're familiar with graphing inequalities, but so far we've done them like just graph one inequality. Now we're supersizing it. We're going to graph 2 at once, okay? All right, any questions with graphing the first one? All right, okay, let's do the second one. All right, so the second inequality, we have y is bigger than or equal negative x minus 1. Right? So again, we start by graphing the line, and then we're going to shade. Okay, so we're looking at the y-intercept, which is negative 1. So we mark negative 1 on the y-axis. Okay, now we look at the slope. So in front of the x, I have a negative. So I'm going to make my fraction here. That means -1/1. So it means with my slope from my starting point, I go down 1 unit and 1 to the right. Like this. Okay. So -1 is my starting point on the y-axis, and then my slope tells me down 1, 1 to the right. Okay. Okay, now I need to draw the line. So I look at my inequality, and because it has this equals here, I'm going to shade it solid. Not shade it, just draw it solid. Okay, so solid line like this. Okay, this is like the least straight line in the world. But anyway, okay, now we need to shade. Okay, so this says y is bigger than this line. So we need to shade above. We're kind of putting these graphs on top of each other. Okay, so basically we follow the blue line and we shade everything upwards from it. Okay, all right, so this is a system of inequalities graphed together. Now the solution is the region where the shadings overlap. Okay, so it's the region where shading overlap. Okay, so you can sort of, you give me that graph, but I'm going to, let's pick a nice green here, actually purple, being picky. Let's pick purple, because when you mix colors, red and blue gives you purple. Okay, so if I look at my graph here, this is where the green, the blue and the red shadings are on top of each other. So this sliver right here, this region in space, is where the solution is. So this is the solution. Okay, so that's how you show a solution to the system of inequalities. You graph each line, you shade in the proper place for each line, and then where you see where the shadings overlap, and that's your solution. Okay, any questions with that? All right, so what the solution means, right, is basically that any coordinate point that you pick in this region and you plug it into these two inequalities is going to work out. They're both going to work out. So if I pick a coordinate point, sort of anywhere in here, right? Those have x and y values. They will make both of these inequality true at the same time. Okay, if I pick any other point in any other region of the plane, then it's going to maybe make one of them true, but not both of them true. Okay, so that's kind of how this fits in with the last example. All right, so it's like any xy values in this sliver will check out, but any other in any region of the plane might check out for one, but not for both. Okay. All right, so let me grab a problem that you guys can try out. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at 286. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes. Make a graph of each of these inequalities with the shadings, and then see where the shadings overlap. So you should get a picture. The graph is your answer, okay?
Are you taking the class? I am. Okay.
All right, so let's look at what this looks like. Okay, so let me look at the first inequality. Okay, and write it here. So I have y is bigger than or equal negative 2 over 3x plus 2. Okay, so we graph this. So we're going to graph the equation. So this is the y-intercept right here. So I put a dot at 2 in the y-intercept. And my slope, right? Negative 2 over 3. So take the negative with the 2. So So I'm going to go down 2, and then the 3 is positive. So down 2 and 3 to the right. So here's my second dot. All right, now we're going to draw the line. Okay, so because there's an equal under the inequality, this is going to be a solid line. So that's what the line looks like. Okay, now we shade. Okay, so we're going to shade above the line because this is y is bigger than this line. We're going to shade above like this. Okay. Any questions with that graph? All right. Okay, let's look at our second equation. All right, so the second one, y is bigger than 2x minus 3. Okay, so same method with graphing. I'm going to start a -3 on the y-axis. Put a dot there. And look at the slope. So the slope is 2. Make it into a fraction. So positive 2 over 1. So up 2, 1 to the right. Okay, so now we're going to look at this inequality right here. So because there's no equal, it's going to be dashed. Okay, and then because y is bigger than, we shade above the line. Okay, so this is the graph, right? Now, as I said, the solution, when you're trying to graph the solution to a system of inequality, the solution is going to be in the region where it's double shaded. Okay, so this is the solution here. Okay, any questions with that one? All right. Okay, let's look at a problem where these were sort of nicely set up because sort of the equations were already in y-intercept form, solve for y. So let's look at a couple where you have to rearrange them at the beginning in order to graph them. All right, so let's see. Let me grab 292. Okay, so I have my 2 inequalities here. Okay, let me draw coordinates first. All right, here's a couple of lines. And my tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's look at the first equation, first inequality. So let's write it here. So 3x minus 2y is less than or equal to 6. Okay, so I need to graph this, but it's not y. It's not in y-intercept form. So we need to subtract x, divide by -2 to put it in the form where we can graph it. And so let's subtract the 3x. Okay. And we get -2y less than or equal -3x plus 6. Okay. Then divide everything by -2. All right, so now because I'm dividing by a negative, so watch out for these, because I'm dividing by a negative, I gotta switch this around. Okay, so this is going to be y is bigger than or equal positive 3 over 2x minus 3. Right, so notice that because I divided by negative 2, this inequality sign switched around. Okay, now I'm ready to graph. Okay, so my y-intercept is negative 3. Put a dot there. My slope is positive 3 over 2. So up 3, 2 to the right. Okay, so the line is solid because of that equal sign. And it says why it's bigger than, so the shading goes above. Like this. All right, any questions with that one? Okay, let's look at the second one. Okay, so I'll put it here. So negative 4x minus 2y bigger than 8. Same thing, I need to solve for y. Add 4x to both sides. Get negative 2y is bigger than 4x plus 8. Divide by negative 2. Okay, here again it's happening, right? Because I'm divided by a negative number, this has to switch over. It's going to be y is less than, or divided by negative 2 is negative 2x, and this is minus 4. Okay, so now I'm going to graph this. Okay, so y-intercept is negative 4, so put a dot here. Slope is negative 2, right, as a fraction, negative 2 over 1. So I'm going to go down 2 and over 1. All right, so here's my 2 points. Now, if I look at the inequality, there's no equal underneath, so this is going to be a dashed line. Draw backwards. There we go. A dashed line right here. And it says y is less than this line, so I need to shade below the line. Okay, so my solution region, where the two things overlap, is right here. So my solution is in this little V, this little corner there. All right, any questions with that one? Okay. Let me see if I can find a good one for you guys to try. 290. Let's see. Let's do 294. All right, I need a new page. Let's see, let's open up a new page here. There we go. Okay, so 3 minutes. We try this out, and then we can check in a few minutes time. I'll draw my axes in the meantime. All right, so let's look at these. Okay, so let's grab the first inequality. 2x plus y is bigger than -6. So this needs to be solved for y. So subtract 2x from both sides. We get y equals -2x minus 6. All right, so -6 is my y-intercept. I put a dot there. And then the slope is -2/1. So I need to extend this line. So go down 2 and 1 to the right. Okay, or I can go 1 up 2 and 1 to the left. So either way is fine. Okay, so this is bigger than, okay? So this is going to be a dashed line. Let's draw a dashed line like this. Okay, and this, because its y is bigger, we shade above. Okay, so we're done with the first one. Let's go ahead and do the second inequality. Put it over here. Negative x plus 2y is bigger than or equal to negative 4. Again, we need to solve for y. So add x to both sides. 2y bigger than or equal to x minus 4. Divide by 2. So y is bigger than or equal. Let's write this as 1/2 x minus 2. All right, so minus 2 is my y-intercept, and 1 over 2 is my slope. So they're both positive, so I get up 1 and over 2. Okay, so looking here, the line is solid, and I need to shade above. Okay, so solid line and shade above. Oops. All right. Okay, so my solution region is in the kind of corner where they both overlap. That's the solution. Okay, any questions with that one? Okay, so let me show you where the homework is. Okay, so for this section right here, you're going to do the homework in Canvas. All right, so here's the Canvas page. All right, so that's the home page, right? So you're going to, in the chapter 5, okay, these are all the homeworks. Okay, so we're at the last 2 ones. So you should be doing the video lessons for graphing the systems of inequalities. All right. So again, a couple of video examples and probably a couple of problems to do. Well, and you should be doing the section 5.6 graphing systems of inequalities. So let me open it up. We can see what it looks like. And I'll do a couple of these to show how to put the lines in and do the shading, okay? All right, so let's look at what kind of problems there are. So they're all, okay, so there's 2 types. Oh, these are good. I'll make sure to go over like 5 or 6. And these ones. Okay, so they all look like they're graph and shade, all right? So let's look at question 2. Okay, so question 2. Says graph this system of inequalities. All right, so let's do the first problem. So this is number 1. Okay, so this is already solved for y. So y bigger than 4x minus 1, right? And we need to, it looks like we need to pick the type. So here's at the bottom, we need to pick the type of line we need. Okay, so because this doesn't have the equal sign, we need the one with the dashed. Okay, so make sure you click on the box at the bottom here that has the dashed line. Okay, and now we're going to draw the line. So we're going to put -1 on the intercept. So put a dot there. And then the slope is 4. So we need to go up 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 to the right. So we'll put our second dot here. Okay, and now it's sort of, I'm not touching the screen, but you can sort of see that depending on where I'm hovering, it sort of is doing shading. So I need to touch the screen, put another dot in the region where I need to shade, okay? So because it's y bigger than, I need to shade above the line. So I'm going to touch it here. All right. Now I'm gonna do the second inequality. So second inequality. Okay, so again, we need to choose from the boxes here, need to choose either the solid line or the dashed line. Okay, so this is also going to be a dashed one because it's no equal sign. Okay, so make sure that the box is, you pick that box, right? So again, I need to do the y-intercept and the slope. So the y-intercept is at 1. So my pencil marking, I should put a dot at 1. Okay, and now the slope says -1/2. So I need to go down 1 and 2 to the right. And I mark with the pencil, and that draws the line. Okay, now I need to decide which part to shade. So because it says y is less than, I need to touch the screen below the line, right? And that does the shading. Okay, so now the region that's that overlaps is your solution region. Oops. I think that was the wrong thing to do. Okay. Don't touch the screen again because it draws another line. I'm not sure how to erase it. So I'm going to clear it all and I'm going to do it again. Okay, so for the first line, -1, slope is 4/1, and I need to shade above. Okay, for the second line, I start at 1, I go 1 down, 2 across, and then I need to shade below. Okay, all right, let's see if this is good. So we're going to submit. Okay, green check mark means that you got it correct. Okay, so full credit. All right, so I want you guys to try one out. Okay, so again, your problem might not be exactly like mine, but go ahead and try either question 1 or question 2 on your homework to kind of get the feel for or how to input the answers. And if you're sort of getting stuck, if it's not doing what you want it to do, let me know. And maybe you can sort of share your screen or I can help you figure out how to put this stuff in. Okay, so take a couple of minutes to do question 1. That's fine. Love you. Love you. Well, I love you. All right, so let's look at this problem. Is anybody having problems putting the answer in?
I had a question.
Yeah.
So I was on Canvas to look for this graphing system of equalities, and there's like 3 of them, and they're all this. Well, 2 of them say the same thing, but one of them is different. And the other video that doesn't say 5, 6 practice is just a repeat of the 5, 6 inequalities one. It's kind of weird.
I guess I'm not sure what you're seeing.
Basically on my Canvas side, I have 3 assignments, and 3 of them are all pretty much repeats, or what it seems to look like to me.
Okay. Are you looking under assignments?
Yes.
Are you looking under assignments? Let's see what's.
Mm-hmm.
Look under the student view. So if you look under assignments, section 5.6.
Yeah, those 3.
Video lesson, graphic system of inequalities. And it looks like there's 2 5.6 ones. All right.
Yeah, I clicked both of them, and they're both different from each other.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, so that's a video lesson. Okay. And this one is, this is the second one is the homework. Okay, so I think I just probably titled it badly. So do me a favor for now, use the home button.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because sort of I have them organized in the modules. So if you use the home button, then we're working on these 2, the video lesson and the graphing system of inequalities. So click on that second one. That's what we're working on right now. Okay, so are you able to see the problems?
I see that. It's just I'm on the app, so it sets it up differently. But okay. I guess I'll just hop on the website.
All right, but the homework shows on your app?
Yeah, all that shows, it's just it's
Okay.
on the app itself. It's almost it just seems it's just kind of everywhere, you know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to open this on my iPad on the app, and nothing is showing. I just sort of want to make sure that I understand how it works. Do you have like the Canvas app on your
Yeah, yes, I've
on
had
the
the Canvas app.
iPad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, mine says launch external tool,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't. So I
Oh.
need to figure out just sort of, it's probably some setting that I need to do. It shows on my computer, okay.
But
All right.
okay, so just do this one with the 10 questions and the other video.
In the video, yeah, I'll try to erase the second one. I don't know. It probably, when I set this up, I made two versions of it for some reason. I don't like the assignment page because they're all disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should get it disabled for you guys because I think it's confusing.
Okay. Sweet.
All right.
Good to know.
Okay. Anyone have questions on or problems putting the answers in for these? Okay. All right. Okay, let me work through another one. Okay, I noticed number 5, number 6 are interesting. Okay, so number 5 on mine says graph the system of inequalities given below. There's number 5. Okay, so it says the first one is x equals -2. Okay, or x is bigger than -2. Yeah, so we need to first graph the line x equals -2. So remember that this is a vertical line. X equals something is a vertical line. Okay, so let's pick. So we're gonna pick, we need to pick the one that has a dashed line. So we're gonna pick this one. So now we need to draw a vertical line at x equals -2. So I'm gonna put a dot at x equals -2, and then just put another dot along that line. Oh, I didn't, well, I picked, oh, oops. Looks like I picked the solid. I need to, okay. I need to click on it hard to choose the correct one. Okay, so let's do it again. So x equals -2, and another dot along that line. And now I need to pick the shading. Okay, so because x is bigger than -2, we want values of x that are bigger than -2. So it's going to be shaded there. All right, now y is less than 3. This is going to be a horizontal line. Y is 3. It's going to be solid because of the equal sign. So I'm going to put a dot at y equals 3. And then I want to make it horizontal. So just pick another point along the horizontal line. And now I need to pick the shading. So y is less than the line I got to do below. Okay, so that's what the graph looks like here. Okay, then we're going to submit. All right, so that's those questions here. Okay, so yes, we want to do, for this section, we want to do those two problem sets. Okay, so the video assignments and the homework assignment for that. Okay, let me look at my assignment list, see if I can get rid of the one that's extra. So chapter 5.6. Yeah, there's like 2 identical ones. Video lessons. I think the first one is the one I don't want. Let me just check. Yeah, This is the one that I don't want. So I'm going to delete that one so it doesn't confuse everybody. All right, cool. So now that's it. Cool. Okay, so next, what I want to do is look at some of those word problems again. Okay, so we were working on word problems last time before the break. So those were questions from sections 5.3 and 5.5. Okay, so let's look at some of the problems from the homework first. And then after the break, we'll work on some problems together. Okay, so let's look at 5.3 problems. Those are not word problems. I think they're all in 5.5. Okay, so never mind. All right. So let's look at section 5.5. There you go. These are word problems. All right, let's try this one. Okay, so Samantha invests a total of 16,500 in 2 accounts, paying 3% and 4% annual interest. How much was invested in each account if after 1 year the total interest was $520? Right? So I typically like to sort of make a little sketch. Okay, so I have 2 different accounts. So I have account number 1 and account number 2. I kind of think of it, you have 2 buckets where you put money in. So you have 2 accounts. And then this is going to be the total. Okay, so you have the 3rd bucket where it's this represents the total amount of money you have. All right, so you want to split up your money. All right, so you're gonna put X amount of money in the first account, Y amount of money in the second account, and this makes up a total of 16,500. Okay, so this is where this comes from. Okay, so you have 16,500 in total, and it gets split up into X and Y into 2 accounts. All right, now we're going to look at the percentages. Okay, so it says the percentage for first account is 3%. The percentage for the second account is 4%. All right, and it says that the total interest, so in like the total pile, you don't have a percentage, you have a dollar amount. Okay, so the interest amount is $520. All right, so now before I write equations, you want to change your percentages to decimals. Okay, so you don't want to work in percentages. 3% means 3 divided by 100. So that means 0.03. And 4% means 0.04. Okay, so now we're ready to write some equations. Okay. All right, so the first equation comes from the blue, just adding up X plus Y is 16500. Right, so that's the first equation, comes from just adding up the X and Y to give you the total amount. Okay, and the second equation comes from the interest, the percentages. So you're basically going to multiply the X's and the Y by their respective percentages. So I have 0.03X and 0.04Y equals the amount of the interest, 520. Okay, so these ones with the interest, the accounts, typically the higher number, the higher dollar value goes with the X plus Y, and the lower dollar value for the interest goes with the decimals, with the percentage stuff. Okay, any questions on the setup? We're good? Okay, so let's solve this. Okay, so to solve this equation, or the system of equation, we're going to substitute. So we're going to, let's subtract x from both sides here. So we get y is 1,6,500 minus x. And then this gets plugged into the second equation. So we have 0.03x plus 0.04 times parentheses 16,500 minus x equals 520. Right, now we distribute this. I'm going to go down here. So I have 0.03x plus my calculator. So 0.04 times 16,500 gives me 660. Then the negative 0.04 goes with the x, equals 520. All right, so this follows from there. Now we're, oh, there's an x there. Now we're going to combine the x parts. So we have negative 0.01x. All right, and subtract 660 from both sides. So do minus 660. And we get negative 140. All right, now divide by negative 0.01. And we get x equals 140 divided by 0.01, which is 14,000. Okay, so that tells us that this first account had $14,000 in it. All right, we're not quite done because we also need to find y. Okay, so we take this all the way back to the top here and plug it into the y equation. Okay, so we get y equals 16,500 minus 14,000. So that gives us y equals 2,500. Okay, so that's 2,500 goes into that second account. All right, any questions on that problem? All right, let me type it in. Okay, so 14,000 was at 3%. So that's the x value is with the 3%. And 2,500 was with the 4%. Okay, let's submit it. And it says it's correct. All right. Okay, so let's take a little break. So take 10 minutes again, so that you can be away, stretch your legs, whatever. I'll be around, so if you have questions about problems or homework, then let me know. And then at 11 o'clock, I'm going to ask you guys to go to your emails. You should find an email from me with the link to a Google Doc that has a few of these word problems. And you guys are going to work in the Google Doc as groups. Okay, so you're going to work on these problems together to practice them. I know the word problems are a bit difficult. If you're working on a phone or an iPad, you might have to go to your apps and search for the Google Doc app and download it so you can work on it. All right, good. See you guys around 11 o'clock.
Way too early. Study for the quiz. Well, I can read my notes and everything. Professor,
Yes.
is it possible that I'll be able to retake the quiz from 5.1, 5.2?
Just from the previous week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't graded them yet, so I'm not sure how you did.
I got a 0.
I'll try to grade them soon. But yeah, you're welcome to retake the quiz after class.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get anything right on that quiz.
Okay. Let me look at it and see what it was and give you some other problems.
And I can do that after class.
Yes.
I think I literally put in 2 like guesses from looking at them,
Mm-hmm.
the word problem homework, and 2 of them actually came out correct. I was like, oh my God, really? That's the answer?
That's encouraging that you're getting things correct. That's good.
I had 2 right on that homework.
All right, which homework are you working on?
The one I was working on that I got the 2 right was 5.5 is the word problems, right?
Oh, there were problem ones. Good, good.
Yeah, that's the one that 2 of them I just from looking at it kind of made a guess and it turned out to be right.
Okay. Yeah, we'll practice them some more today and some more before the test. So
At least I feel good about like what we did today in the inequalities. Like I feel really good about that.
that's good.
Yeah. I feel like the graphing has been a strong point.
Yeah, we've done so much of it that is sort of it's solidifying, right? Because it's like basically from the beginning, it's like solve for y, what's the slope, what's the intercept. So yeah, we've done so much of it that it's, and that's often what it takes with math, that you just kind of, you're seeing similar things over and over again, and you get a chance to practice.
It's more time consuming always to have to like put down the graph and do it, but my answers come out right, so that's good.
That's good.
All right, thank you, Professor.
Sure.
Oh, Professor, also I wasn't getting, my audio wasn't working for like 2 minutes. So I missed I missed what you said before we actually went to the to the problems because we didn't have a quiz.
Yeah, so let me see.
I just forgot I just didn't hear what you had said at the beginning.
Yeah, I had an agenda up. So let me see. Let me share my screen so you can see it.
Okay. Well, we were going to have a quiz on the word problems today.
Well, I decided since you're coming back from break that I'll do the quiz Thursday instead. We'll have a chance to practice them some more. Yeah, so the agenda is to do the 5-6 lesson, which you've done, and then sort of practice. Actually, we're going to practice more of the 5.5. I think 5.3 was just like regular systems of equation problems. So yeah, we'll practice on 5.5, the word problem stuff.
Okay.
And the dude, sorry?
That's what the quiz is going to be on Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, due Thursday is the 5-6 video lesson and homework in Canvas and the mixture problem practice, which we're doing starting at 11. And then just a reminder, then due today is the 5.3 and 5.5 homeworks.
And if you submit in Canvas, then that's done, right?
Yeah, if you're doing them in Canvas, there's nothing to submit.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you were just explaining, that you weren't going to do the quiz this morning because of the vacation?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then I just went to the lesson.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. All right, so let's continue with the class, okay? All right, so here's what I want you guys to do. Let me share my screen again. I go here. Nice. So this might take a few minutes to kind of get you guys set up and into the correct place. But this is good because we'll probably do this a few times. So I like you guys working in groups in class, but obviously we can't do that in person. I like I'm gonna get you guys to use Google Docs to do some work together. All right. So what I set up last night. I set up a few groups, just kind of putting you in groups that people you usually work with, right? So you should have gotten an email from me last night. So you need to check the email that you're sort of using at Miramar, because that's the one I have access to. And I send you a link to a Google Doc. Okay, so you should, if you click on the link, you should be able to open this document that says mixture problems on it, right? So let me actually go to one. Let's see. So let's see, I have group 1 here. All right, so basically, that's what I need you to do right now. So go to your email, find that link. Hopefully you didn't delete it when you got it last night. Right? If you don't have the link, then I can try to resend it to you. Check your spam folder or whatever. But you should click on that link and be able to see this document. Okay? Again, if you are working on a phone or an iPad, you might need to download. If you click on the link, you might see it, but not be able to work on it. So, you'll need to download the Google Doc app to your device. All right, so let me know if you're having any problems finding the link or opening up this document, but that's what I want you to do right now. So find the link, open the document. All right, so I can see somebody joining group 2. All right, so there's, once you join and there's more than one person in there, okay, you should be able to kind of see this chat box here, right? And if you click on it, it opens a chat window and you can sort of chat with each other as you're working, okay? If you don't see the chat box, you can still sort of, as you are working through the document, you can see what other people are typing. So you can sort of work with each other, right? All right, so I see group 2 has like 1 person joined. There's like 3 or 4 people per group. You know, so make sure that you are joining your group. No one in group 3 yet. Oh yeah, there's a couple of people. Never mind. Good, very nice. Now it depends on who is present in class. You might be, like, all people could be present and you might be working with several people, or it might just be you in that document, and that's okay too. Basically, whoever's in there, right, you can just do the work, right? So I'll wait a few more minutes for people to join. That's a group 5.
How do I know which group I'm in?
When you open the document, so if you look at my screen, when you open the document, it should say mixture word problems and in parentheses, the group number.
Okay.
And if people are logged in, you can sort of, if you click on the little boxes, it gives the name of the people in the group. So right now in group 5, I'm here with Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Yeah, if you open the chat box, then you can see the people who are in your group, right? I think most of you have Gmail addresses, so it shows.
I can't tell if I'm in my group or not. My screen is not showing me that little chat bubble next to where it says share. I'm not getting a chat bubble.
Do you see it now?
I see it on your screen.
Okay, you don't see it on your screen?
Let me check my screen again.
Yeah, some like other people said that they don't see the chat box, which is fine. Like if you don't see it, you can still work at the same time as people, with people, and you can just like chat with each other on the screen. You can say, hey, what do you guys think of this? Okay. And I can tell you the names of the people in the groups, but it's usually the people that you typically work with in class. Okay, so
I usually work with Derek Hamilton, and he actually had to drop the class with all the issues with the coronavirus.
oh, I see. I didn't realize it wasn't. He was still on the schedule. Okay, I think I have you and Victor together. You work with Victor on the Barbie Bungee project, so. Yes. I think we're just sort of waiting for Victor to access it. All right, so let me see. Let me look at Denise. Let me see if I can help. I think you're in group 5. I'm going to send you the link directly. Link sharing. Okay, so Denise, I copy and pasted the link to the document in the chat box. So if you click on that, see if it will open it up for you. All right, so again, if anybody else is having problems finding that email to find their group, I can help. All right, okay, so let me give you instructions what to do. Okay, so basically I put 5 word problems, typical word problems that you see on the homework and that I've worked through in class. So basically for the next 30, 40 minutes, I want you guys to work on these problems together, okay? So for example, the first problem says, Ivan has $8.75 in nickels and quarters on his desk drawer. The number of nickels is twice the number of quarters. How many coins of each type does he have? Okay, so basically I've asked you to, all right, define your variables. Okay, so what is this problem asking me for? You look at the question, it says, how many coins of each type? Okay, so you can say, well, let's say N is the number of nickels, okay? And I'm working in group 5s. I'll erase it so you guys can do it later. You can say Q is the number of quarters. Okay, so type that in. Okay, now we're going to write the equations. Okay, so we're gonna read the problem and say, well, it gives me a couple of pieces of information. First, it says that the number of nickels is twice the number of quarters. So how would I write that? So number of nickels, n, is twice the number of quarters. So that would be 2q. Okay, so that's one equation. Second equation says that the total amount of money is $8.75. Okay, so if I add how much money in nickels plus how much money in quarters, that will give me $8.75. Okay, but it's not right to write it this way because N stands for how many coins. You have to take the number, the money value in account. So how much is a nickel worth? And how much is a quarter worth? So a nickel is worth 5 cents, right? So we need to put 0.5 because that's 5 cents. And a quarter is worth 25 cents. So we need to put 0.25 in there. Right. So these are my two equations, and now we want to solve it. Okay, so you want to show the solution to solving the equation. You don't have to sort of put it here, but you can say, well, I'm going to substitute. Okay, so I'm going to take my equation, and then because n is equal to 2q, right, this gets substituted in there. Right, so that's n gets replaced by 2q. Okay, so we have that, and then you can show the steps to solving the equation. Okay. All right, so that's so go ahead and work on these documents. Again, you can sort of, you can split them up, like one person can work on one and the second can work on two, or you can sort of work together and communicate by chat, or you can share each other's, you can be texting each other as you're working if the chat is not working, or you can just sort of be typing in the document. Do you think this is right? Right, okay, and the other person can sort of just jump in and sort of contribute. But let me give you like maybe 5 minutes. I'm gonna erase this. Let me give you 5 minutes for the first problem to set it up and solve it. And while you guys work, I'll gonna open the documents for each group and check with you, and basically give you feedback. If I see that you got something and I can correct it, I'll give you feedback as you're working. All right, cool. Let me know if you have questions or if you can't find the link, and I'll send it you through the chat box. Okay.
My partner is unresponsive.
All right. Let me send him a message. right one.
Aren't I group 7?
I think you're group 2. Or what does it say at the top for you?
That's group 7.
Oh, group 7. You're group 7. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give me a second, Marcelo. Let me figure out what group I put you in. I think I put you in 2. Yeah. Grab that link. Okay. I send you the link in the chat box, Marcelo. I think if you click on that, it should take you to the document.
Okay. Let's see. I didn't get the new email yet.
Dora, I think you do. You have access to your document. I can see you in there.
Yeah, no, I just, I didn't get the email you just sent with the new link.
Oh, that wasn't for you. That was for Marcelo.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Let's see. So I'm looking at group 4. You guys are looking good. Nickels and quarters, equations. All right. I think you're missing N and Q in here. Oh, wait. I see. So the 5 cents. Okay, so the 5 cents should be 0.05. Okay, not just 0.5, right? Because 5 cents. Good. And that carries up to that equation there too. Okay, so 0.05. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's look at group 5. Okay.
What you guys are playing with, huh?
Cool, group 5. So we have our variables, and I see the equation here. You should, you should type in the 2 separate equations too. Okay. Work in progress.
I don't know. It's hard for me to think of the equation for it. I can't really figure that out.
Which group are you in?
Group 6.
Group 6. Oh, so the equations. Okay, so yeah, let's look at the sentences here. Okay, so the number of nickels is twice the number of quarters. So this part should give us one equation to write. All right, so it says the number of nickels is twice the number of quarters. That means that n equals, what would n equal?
N equals 2Q.
Yeah. So that's one equation you can write, n equals 2q.
So it'll be n equals 2q, like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And now the money equation. Okay, so we have the nickels and the quarters are going to add up to $8.75. Okay, so yeah, the 0.05 goes next to the n. So you're going to have 0.05 n. Okay, plus 0.25 q. Because you're given a value to each of the coins. Exactly. That's good for the second equation. Okay, good.
Okay.
So then when we solve, you're going to plug one into the other. Okay, so we're gonna, like you started at the top here, you're replacing n by 2q and just continuing the equation and solving it.
Okay.
All right, so I think, Dora, I'm gonna put you in a group with Stephanie and Denise, because I don't think anybody's sort of joining your group. So give me a second to send you that link. No, it's not that one. There we go. Oh, which problem is looking good for most people? I'll go over it in a minute. Two. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, maybe setting things into 2 columns wasn't the best idea. Let's see. Let's get you guys to solve right underneath. I think that might be better. The tabbing is annoying. let me go over this problem. Okay, I know I kind of started already, but I'll go over the steps to kind of check with each other. All right, so my variables, I have N is the number of nickels. And Q is the number of quarters. Okay, so it says the number of nickels is twice the number of quarters. So one equation is N equals 2Q. And then the second one was with the value. Okay, so this is like with money problems with the coin stuff. So just make sure that you're putting the value in front of each of the coins. So the value of a nickel is 5 cents, so 0.05. And the value of a quarter is 25 cents. So 0.25, and that adds up to $8.75. All right, so now to solve the equation, I'm going to plug this in for N. So we get 0.05 times 2Q plus 0.25Q is 875. So we're going to multiply this and we get 0.1Q and 0.25Q is 875. All right, combine these, we get 0.35Q is 875. And divide by 0.35. All right, and we get Q equals, and I'm cheating now because I saw people's answers. We get Q is 25. Okay, so 25 quarters in the jar or in his desk drawer. All right, but we are not finished because we also want to find what N is. So we go back to there and say N is 2 times 25. So N gives me 50. So there's 50 nickels. So 25 quarters and 50 nickels in the drawer. All right. Any questions with that? Okay. So yeah, if it's kind of hard to type on the side of the page, just like cut and paste to solve your equation. So just do everything in one under the other, because I'm seeing people work and it's sort of hard to tab to that side all the time. It makes it a bit messy. So just sort of do it like one under the other. That's fine. All right, any questions with this problem? All right, I'll check in on, so you should be working on the other problems. So like if you, I'll check in on number 2 as you guys are working. That's with Museum Box Office solved 281 tickets for a total of 3,954. Adult tickets cost $15. Student tickets cost $12. So how many of each were sold? All right, so Ryan, it looks great, but this 5.5 right here should be turned to decimal form because it's a percentage. So you change the 9% to 0.09, but this 5.5 needs to be changed to decimal form. So divide by 100. Okay. All right, so let's look at the equation for number 2. Okay. So we have adult and student tickets. That's our variables. All right. So let's look at what it says. So the box office sold 281 tickets in total. All right. So how do I make up the 281? So the 281, so kind of think they sold adult tickets and they sold student tickets. So the 281, again, so I can make a little picture. We have 2 different piles. We have the adults and we have the students. And then if you put them together, you have the total. Okay, so A is how many adults and S is how many students. And in total, there are 281 tickets. All right, now let's look at the money. Okay, so it says the adult tickets cost $15 each. And the student tickets cost $12 each. And in total, after the students were the tickets were bought, that's how much money was collected, $3,954. Okay, so this kind of gives you the equation. So one equation comes from if I add up how many of each type of ticket. So if I add the A plus S, we get 281, because that's how many tickets we have. All right, and the second equation comes from putting the money in. Okay, now this money, it's $15 and $12 because it's not cents like in the previous problem. You don't need the decimals, okay? You just have the dollar amount. So you have 15 times A and then 12 times S. That's going to give you the dollar amount. Okay, so those are your two equations here. First comes from adding up how many adults, how many students to get the 281. And then the second one comes with putting the money in. So like money needs to match with money. So 15A and 12S is 3,954 because like all these have dollars in front, right? So you keep dollars with dollars and you keep sort of the things that are not dollars with an equation like that. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna let you work a bit more. Hopefully this will help you get started on that one. Fidel, it's looking good, but I think you're missing a minus here. All right, so I don't know if you see where, if you're looking at the screen, if you see where I am. Because you have A plus S is 281. So yeah, S should be 281 minus A. So that's a minus there. And then that's a minus there. Cool, that looks good. Oh, you did it by elimination. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, this is looking good in group 3. All right, so let me go ahead and kind of finish this problem off to see what the answers are. So this is on number 2 still. Okay, so we have the system of equations. So you can substitute or you can eliminate. So let's say I'm going to subtract a from both sides here. So minus a. So you have s is 281 minus a. So that gets plugged into here. You get 15a plus 12. 281 minus a equals 3954. All right, we get 15a plus, so we get 12 times 281. This is 372 minus 12a, 3954. Then the 15 and the minus 12 gives me 3a. And subtract. We're going to subtract 372 from both sides. We get 3a equals 3954 minus 3372. 582. Divide by 3. We get a equals 194. Okay, so that means 194 adult tickets. All right, and then take this number and plug it into S here. So S is going to be 281 minus 194, which is 87. All right, any questions with this one? Okay, all right. So let's see. Try not to erase, but it looks weird. Okay, so number 3, if you're working on number 3, it has to do with coffee. So Joseph likes to make 12 pounds of coffee. It's a blend, and it costs $6.25 per pound. He blends ground chicory at $4.40 per pound and Jamaican blue at $8.84 per pound. How much of each type should he use, right? So I'll check in with the groups and then I'll help out if it's needed. So let me clear this up. Two. All right, so let me help with setting up number 3. Okay, so we have 2 different types of coffee. So it says how much of each type of coffee should we use? Okay, so we have ground chicory and Jamaican blue. So let's say C is how many pounds of, number of pounds of chicory, and J is number of pounds of Jamaican. You can use X and Y if you want, right? I'm gonna draw a picture here. I like pictures. It kind of helps just organize the numbers. Okay, so this is the chicory. So imagine you have like a barrel of coffee here, and here's a barrel of Jamaican. And then I want to take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right, and put it into a mixture. So this is the mix. Okay. So I don't know how much chicory and how much Jamaican to take, so I'm going to say C and J. But I know that I want to make a total of 12 pounds. Okay, so this gives us our first equation. So C plus J equals 12. So how much chicory and how much Jamaican gives us the 12 pounds. All right, now we're going to look at the amount per pound. So it kind of gives us the cost per pound of each. All right, so the blend, the 12 pounds of coffee blend is $6.25 a pound. Okay. And again, you don't need to change this to, you don't need to divide by 100 because it's already in dollars. Okay, sort of with the quarters and the nickels, we divide by 100 because we're trying to change it to dollars, but this is already in dollars. And how about the others? So the ground chicory is $4.40 per pound, and the Jamaican is $8.84 per pound. So that's the dollar amount. Okay, so when you have like the dollar amounts, because this is per pound of chicory, it multiplies. So we're going to have the $4.40 per pound multiplies how much chicory you have. and then 8.84 per pound of Jamaican multiplies the J, how much Jamaican you have. And the 6.25, this is also a cost per pound. It's not like the total cost. So because it's the cost per pound, it's going to multiply how many pounds of the total you have, the 12. This is a common mistake I see where people leave out the 12, but you have to multiply by the 12 pounds because this 6.25 is the cost for just 1 pound of the mixture, and you're trying to find the total cost, all right? So these are your two equations that you're going to solve. Now, so I'm not going to go through the solution because we're running out of, we have 10 minutes left in class. But this is sort of the setup for that problem, right? So let me let you guys have a little bit more time to work or ask questions. Yes? No? Okay. All right. So let me set up number 4. And if I have time, number 5. So I won't solve them. I'll just set them up to see how the equations work. Okay, so just before the end of class. So number 4, it's with interest rates and investments. We did this, right? I did that probably in Canvas. Okay. Again, let's kind of draw little things like this, right, to organize ourselves. So we have $6,400, and you split it up into 2 accounts. Okay, so basically we have X and Y. It's how much money in the first account and how much money in the second account. Right? So we put it here. So X and Y, because there's account number 1, account number 2. If I put all my money together, this is going to be $64,000. Okay. All right. And what's important here is the percentage rate. So it says account 1 is at 5.5%. And account 2 is at 9%. Right? And it earns an interest of $4,500. Okay, you can't use percentages the way they are. You got to change them to decimals. So 5.5% changes to 0.055, 9% changes to 0.09. Okay, so the equations. So one equation comes from when you add the X and Y together, you get the big number, 64,000. And the second equation comes from putting the percentage in front of everything, okay? So the 0.055 is the percentage that goes with the X. The 0.09 is the percentage that goes with the Y. And that adds up to the $4,500 interest, okay? Again, it's sort of when you have these interest problem with 2 amounts of money, like the big pot is the X and the Y, and the small, the interest money, goes with the one with the percentages. Okay. All right. Any question on how that one was set up? All right. Let's look at this one. So the antifreeze solution. Okay, we have 2 solutions. We're trying to mix to get the last one. So again, we have X and Y. We have the solution 1 and solution 2. Here's 1 and here's 2. Okay, we have X and Y, and it's trying to add up to 360 liter. So that's the mix. Okay, and here you have percentage, 90% is mixed to 75%, and you're trying to find something that's 85%. Okay. So again, the equation comes from, so if I add X, Y together, I get 360. And then if you put the percentages in, you have to change them to decimal. So 90% is 0.9, 75% is 0.75, and then 85% is 0.85. So each of those percentages multiplies the amounts. Okay, so here are your 2 equations here. All right. So we have a couple of minutes left in class. So for the mixture word problems, so the problems that you're working on right now, basically, if you're not done, please work to finish them by tomorrow. Okay, so if you were in a group, please contribute. So basically, if you see problems that are not done, then work on them. Okay, so work on them until all the problems are completed, right? So the other things that are due by tomorrow are the problems in Canvas, okay? So let me clean this up. I think I got rid of the extra problem set, right? But you are in chapter 5. Okay, we're in chapter 5. So you should be working on the video lesson for graphing inequalities and the homework for graphing inequalities. If you haven't finished the homework for 5.5, you have until tonight to finish the video lessons on the mixture money problems and the homeworks on the mixture money problems. So those are still open that you can work on them. If like today helped clarify a few things, you can go back to those homeworks and finish. What's coming up? So if we look at the schedule, we're here today. We did section 5.6 as well as some practice. On Thursday, so this is the end of chapter 5. So on Thursday, I'm gonna give you guys a quiz on word problems and the graphing. Okay, so we're gonna start with the quiz. Then we're going to do a project. We're gonna sort of do mostly some project work that has to do with systems of equations and inequality. And then if I have time, I'll start section 6.1, okay? But then a week from today, we have test 3. Okay, so a week from today, I'm gonna give you a test on chapter 5. Okay, and the test, I'll explain more on Thursday, but the test will be, you'll take it at home, and it's gonna be open notes. And you're going to sign a statement that says that you didn't receive any help from any people or websites or things like that other than your notes, and you're going to send it to me through Canvas, but it's just going to be at home. Okay. All right. Any questions before we go? Okay. So if you don't have any questions, bye. See you Thursday. I'm going to put up. It's office hours now. I'm going to put up on the screen a makeup quiz for the last quiz you took, sections 5.1 and 5.2. I didn't get a chance to grade it yet, but if you don't think you did that great, you're welcome to take up the makeup quiz. And you can, again, take pictures and go to Canvas and upload it in the section 5.1, 5.2 quiz assignments. And even if you have something there already, you can upload the new pictures, okay? So I'm going to put that on the screen now. You're welcome to hang around and ask me questions during office hours, or take the quiz, or whatever you like to do. Okay. See you guys later. Let me open up. Here's the makeup quiz.
Professor, I'm still somehow not getting a response from Stephanie either in the group chat. Stephanie, are you there? No? Professor, am I doing this wrong?
I'm not sure.
I see Stephanie's name on top and it's unmuted, and I wrote in the chat, but
Which it's possible that she's not checking it.
hmm.
All right, so I recommend that you try to communicate with her like in the document.
Oh.
I think when I checked on that group, the other, like they were communicating with each other within the document where they're doing the word problems.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay, I'm going to, give me a second.
Equals 8.555 divided by 0.09 0.061 0.061 x 3500 25.99 50,000. All right, no one wants to respond to me. Right. What is it, baby? You want the door open? Let's see how nice it is. Maybe I open the door.